Salut! Tu penses qu'il faut lancer une grosse boutique pour réussir sur Etsy? Détrompe-toi. En 2025, tes produits à 3 $ peuvent générer des millions. Avec les bons outils, le printemps et les produits digitaux, on peut gagner plus qu'en travaillant 35 heures par semaine. Aujourd'hui, on te résume en 10 minutes les meilleures vidéos du moment pour créer une boutique Etsy rentable et évolutive, même en partant de zéro. On commence avec Etsy. Et une idée de business toute simple peut suffire à battre un job classique. Certains produits digitaux génèrent des dizaines de milliers de dollars sans stock, avec des marges impressionnantes. Prenons un planeur de mariage vendu 11 $. Il a généré plus de 40 000 $ en moins d'un an, avec 90% de marge.
This is a wedding planner, wedding budget tracker template, which essentially just allows you to track your wedding and how much it's going to cost. This is a bit of a newer listing since it was only posted 11 months ago, and with 3,600 sales at $11 each, which means this single listing has made around $40,000 in 11 months. Again, not even counting all of the other listings that they have in their shop. And there's a lot of different angles and styles that you could go with when making a wedding download. There's entire shops built out around selling wedding downloads. Like this one, where they're selling all kinds of wedding-related downloads. Now, it looks really confusing at first, until you realize that most of these templates are extremely simple. They're some kind of text on a nice looking background. And they've made millions of dollars selling digital downloads just like this. The best part about digital downloads, besides the fact that they're passive, is that it's almost a 90% profit margin on each sale. All of their products are essentially templates, so the user gets to change out all of the text. And to do that, they're using a website like Template. Now, this specific listing actually has a demo version that you can try out, which means you can come in here and kind of play around with how these templates are built out. And this one is literally just 2 text boxes with nice looking fonts, of course, on a terracotta colored background. Of course, you could use the same template website to sell your own templates or something else like Canva. And you either go with a more value forward approach with something like a spreadsheet planner, or the more aesthetic approach with some kind of card template that people can download and use in their wedding. You could use Midjourney here to make some wedding invitation mockups to really bring the designs that you're making to life. For difficulty on this one, I have to give it a 6 out of 10 because while the product is still easy to make, there is a bit more competition in this niche. And since it is a bit more crowded of a niche, you need to do what this shop has done in posting a lot of new listings and having a big listing catalog overall. Remember, since these are all digital templates, they'll be fulfilled automatically, which means they're passive once you get them listed for sale. Besides your standard startup costs, you're looking at maybe $9 a month for the template app or $13 a month if you're going to use Canva.
Maintenant parlons stratégie et publicité. Avec seulement 5 $ de budget publicitaire par jour, on peut créer un effet boule de neige et atteindre 200 $ de ventes quotidiennes sans effort.
So that is truly the power of this strategy. And not only that, you can stop advertising once you get so many sales and reviews, because after you get so many sales and reviews, what Etsy is going to do is Etsy is going to organically put your products in front of all of the people on Etsy that's searching for your product or related products, and of course have your product displayed beside those related products. So that's how this is going to work, and that's the power of this strategy right here. So if you are somebody that's struggling to make money online, struggling to make money on Etsy, or struggling to make any kind of money at all, this is a strategy right here that you can literally see results in under 7 days. And I challenge you to push it to $1,000 in 7 days, because as you can already see, that's very possible. So what you want to do right now is you want to go ahead again and implement this strategy. Don't wait a week. Don't wait 3 days. Do it right now. Start right now. And even if you only do 3 products, go ahead and get your Etsy shop fired up. Go ahead and get a few products sent over to somebody on Fiverr that will do this for you. Get those products created so you can go ahead and see those sales roll in like clockwork.
Pour atteindre ces 10 000 premiers dollars sur Etsy, il faut aller au-delà de la plateforme. Les réseaux sociaux et l'email marketing font toute la différence. Même avec une petite audience, il est possible d'attirer du trafic vers sa boutique grâce à une newsletter bien pensée et des publications régulières.
Of course, photos are important, but what is really key as well is going to be your SEO. And while we just talked about search terms that are going to have those high search volumes and low competitions, that's going to play a huge role in the search visibility of your Etsy listing. And according to Etsy, they say that basically less is more. They want you to use relevant keywords in your titles that make sense to a buyer and that can also make sense to an Etsy search algorithm. If you're putting a bunch of like random mumble jumble words in your title that don't make sense for the product that you're selling, odds are Etsy's not going to put that in front of the right person. Your title should always lead with a very specific keyword term. For example, when we looked at our phone cases, the first term for your phone case should be exactly what it is. So if we were to make a pink mosaic phone case, that would be my first keyword in my title. Pink mosaic phone case, followed by some more broad keywords that could be leading up to that. This also goes into play with your tags. Like I keep saying, less is more on Etsy. I'm not somebody that puts a bunch of junk in my description. I don't fill out every single attribute because if it doesn't apply to the product I'm selling, I find it actually confuses the algorithm more than it actually helps me on Etsy. And there's no way to crack that algorithm code. It's just telling Etsy, hey, this is what I'm selling, so please get it to the right buyer. Now, next is something that I get asked a ton about, and it is really, really important. So while most of Etsy traffic is going to come from Etsy itself, because as we talked about, it's a marketplace, there are ways that you can market your Etsy shop and get buyers from other platforms. So of course there is social media, right? You can post your listings on social media to get more traction and really encourage people to come to your Etsy shop. And this can be a great advantage if you already have social media experience. Maybe you have an account that you post on. It's more and more popular these days for people to have a social presence. And whether that's 2,000 followers or 50,000, you can still promote your items to your followers and ask them to support your small business. So it's always an option as well. Now, if you don't want to do that though, it's really not completely necessary because Etsy does have a way of getting buyers directly to the products on their platform. So it's not as extensive as it would be if you did have like a Shopify store that you had to drive all of that traffic to because we're on a marketplace.
Un produit digital à 3 $ peut générer plus d'1 million de dollars. C'est possible avec la bonne méthode. La clé, ajouter des bonus gratuits, construire une communauté engagée et utiliser une mailing list ou un groupe Facebook pour booster l'engagement.
This is purely why I created my design club for Etsy, as it shows you daily trending products to list on Etsy, as well as the AI prompts to create them in 5 different AI tools so that you can actually see them firsthand before you waste a bunch of credits or your time. So many of my members have reached over 1,000 sales in just a few months of being a part of this group. So if you do struggle with prompting and researching, the link for this will be down in the description below. So now it's time to actually post these designs on Etsy. But here is a key detail. I always offer 6 to 9 free bonus designs alongside the main product. Why? Because free stuff gets clicks, and in a very crowded marketplace, you need your listings to stand out like a neon sign. This is just what is called increasing your click-through rate. I started doing this about 2 years ago and my click-through rates exploded, which of course leads to more sales. All right, so you've finally gotten a sale, but now how do you turn that one-time buyer into a repeat buyer? Well, it is against Etsy's terms of service from just grabbing their email and spamming them, and for good reason. So instead, I include a downloadable PDF in every purchase that invites buyers to join my free Facebook group or to hop onto my email list. In just 2 years, I've grown my Facebook group to nearly 11,000 members, and my email list is over 20,000. So getting them on your list or in your group means that you can remarket to them for free whenever you release new designs.
Et même une bougie humoristique peut rapporter plus de 400 000 $ par an. Mais pour ça, il faut le bon état d'esprit. Ne crée jamais un produit juste par passion. Teste, analyse, valide et utilise le print on demand pour limiter les risques et maximiser les profits.
I've had POD shops that didn't pick up at all the way I wanted, but the beauty is you can start small, spend very little money, launch a few designs, see what sticks, and scale from there. I'm not here to preach that it's easy or guarantee you'll make millions, but if you're willing to experiment and learn, you can absolutely carve out a nice chunk of online income for yourself. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is that they have some great ideas for something that they're passionate about, but there aren't enough customers who are interested in what they're making. I needed to learn to put many of my amazing ideas on the chopping block and rely on cold, hard research of what customers are guaranteed to buy so that I could make money. If you want to have a hobby outlet and make some additional income, then do whatever you want, have fun with it. But if you want a shop that brings in substantial income, you'll need to keep your target customer at the forefront of your mind when making decisions. And the best shops, in my opinion, are the ones that are able to infuse passion and originality into something proven that people want. Look, I'm sharing all this because I remember how it felt to be completely unsure of what I was doing, just praying that something would work. I don't have all the answers, but I do know what's worked for me. And if even one tip can cut down your learning curve, it's worth it. If you're watching this video, you're likely interested in making money online. If you're not already doing it, tell me what's holding you back in the comments below. I'm going to read them all and will try to respond to as many as I can. Because of this business model, I've been able to travel to places like Bali and Costa Rica while working as little as 20 minutes a day. I hope that this inspires you to try that idea that you've been sitting on, because you might discover a passion you didn't know you had and or gain the financial flexibility and personal freedom you've always wanted.
Créer une boutique Etsy rentable en 2025, c'est possible. Que ce soit avec un produit à 3 $, une idée originale ou une stratégie bien pensée, tout repose sur la méthode. Le plus dur, c'est de ne pas commencer. Abonne-toi et active la cloche pour ne pas rater les prochains conseils et va découvrir nos autres vidéos pour faire décoller ton business dès aujourd'hui.